Hey, what's going on, Valoramous Vanguards? In today's DJ tutorial, we're going to discuss what it takes to become good as a DJ. And notice I say good and not great or excellent or master. I just want to say good. And I'd like to propose that a threshold of about 75 or 100 gigs is what it will take for you to become good as a DJ. So let's define a gig. A gig is just one night playing an actual event. So this could be an hour set, this could be a 2-hour set, it could be 90 minutes. It could be 4 hours, it could be 6 hours. I've played all these levels of sets, and they all have their unique challenges, and they all have their unique strengths to rock in the crowd during that set. If you're playing a 1-hour opening set, that's gonna look different than the 1-hour headliner. If you're playing a 6-hour set at a dive bar, that's gonna look very different than a 2-hour set at a mainstream club. If you're playing a 4-hour set at a private event, that will look, or at a private event that's a ball, that's gonna look very different than playing for 3 hours at a birthday party. So I think 75 to 100 gigs is an adequate number. The gigs will vary, but if you are beginning, you're probably going to be playing for a longer period of time because you may get the opening night or the opening hour, but most likely you'll be playing at a bar or a lounge or a lower tier nightclub, which means you're probably going to be playing for 3 to 5 hours, maybe 6, but we'll just say an average of 4. So we say 75 gigs is the threshold or 100 gigs is the threshold, and the average set is 4 hours. We will say that 400 hours of performing live is the number that you probably need to be good. And when I say good, you're making transitions throughout the night. You are generally free of errors. You will make some mistakes, of course, even when you're intermediate advanced. You know beat matching, you know phrase matching, you probably know some key mixing or matching. You know how to bring the audience on a musical journey. Again, I'm describing generalities here because it's going to vary from person to person and experience to experience, but you are playing a set for 4 hours, you're generally free of errors. You know how to move the dance floor, get people moving to start dancing. You know how to open a night and close a night and do peak hour, because those are 3 different parts of the set. You know how to increase the energy, and you know how to conduct transitions through either 1 or 2 verses and choruses. And you can generally do this without errors and without any gaps in between music. These 400 hours live is appropriate to become good as a DJ. Now, of course, that's not the only hours you're gonna put into this craft. In order to prepare for these gigs, you may have spent twice as much time, if not 3, 4, or 5 times as much time. So let's just say you've spent 10 times as much time preparing as you have out there live. So 10 times 400 hours, that could be 4,000. So now we're at roughly the 4,000 to 5,000 hour mark as a DJ. Or we don't even say that. We'll just say you spend 5 times as much time, because I do believe you're going to be spending a lot of time practicing before you go out live. You're probably going to be somewhere between 2,000 to 6,000 hours, I think somewhere in that range neighborhood. Now, if you believe in Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hour rule, which he wrote in his seminal work, Outliers, states that it takes 10,000 hours to become a master in a given craft. Now, you're probably going to be good at about a third of the way through that. So that's going to be about 3,333 hours. And that's right in that 2,000 to 6,000 hour mark. You become advanced, I think, after 5,000, but in particular between 6 to about 9,000, that's going to be really advanced. So I think 75 to 100 gigs is a good number, because it's probably going to put you to where you've made your mistakes live, you've recovered from those mistakes live, you've improved those mistakes, you've achieved a level of proficiency that's admirable and that anyone off the street could not just achieve. And you've probably input a couple of thousands of hours into this craft to where you will be good. And so I think as a DJ, I would not expect anything magical to happen with your career until you have DJed at least 100 gigs. After you've done that, then you should be reassessing and determining where you should go. Now those 100 gigs, or let's just say 75, you want these gigs to come from a wide variety of venues, ideally, but you may be loyal to a particular place. It doesn't mean you cannot improve your craft at one place, because you may be playing similar music, but you become better at playing that music. So you're going to be more intimately familiar with that style of music that you're playing for that venue. If you can, try to DJ at several different types of venues. Private event, a nightclub, a bar, and then some sort of lounge. If you can get to those four, and the private events, those come in various flavors as well too. You have weddings, you have birthday parties, you have corporate events, etc. But try to do a couple of these different styles of events, bars, lounges, nightclubs, and private events. Achieve 50, 75, or even 100 gigs, and then you will be, I think, good as a DJ, and then you can reassess, re-strategize, and then pivot from there if you're really gravitating towards a particular venue or a particular style of music. Then you can specialize more. But I think at first, you're probably gonna be playing at a dive bar, and you should just be trying to put in the hours, put in the number of gigs, and then building this skill set, building this experience, which you can expand on later, and then specialize. I wouldn't try to specialize at first. Just focus on the open format music, build that experience, make your mistakes, make them early, make them in lower threat settings such as lounges and bars, and then progress from there. So if you'd like to learn more about how I prepare for private events, then click this video right here.
3, 2, 1, lose it.